that tile check. Oh, all right, here we're back. This is I'm a little
We're
clunky with
back.
my clicking on and off here today.
Part
Yeah.
two. Part two. Nick Harmon with the Fresco Harmony, brought to you by
Mhm.
Techdry Tools, your one-stop tool for all of your
Techdry tool
smaller
needs.
smaller needs.
Yeah, and their shirts are super comfy and they fit if you're enormous. So that's always good.
Techdry Tools. We're less than an inch long. I don't know. You could say something like that.
It's amazing. This,
Techdry Tools. Uh, See, I'm thinking of all this fodder for when we advertise for them.
for anyone who enjoyed pocket knives.
Yeah, and I'm a look
There it is.
always. Yeah, the pot. I use a pocket knife several times a day.
It is shocking how often you use a pocket knife when you carry one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am like, I don't like the big like Leatherman on the side. I
Yep.
like the Super Tinker
Yep.
because of the round. I like that it fits nice in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
The blades are sharp. I use a toothpick like after every meal because I'm getting
Same.
older. But like the flathead for outlets, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I used to have a Gerber, it was like a multi-tool, but they're enormous. It's like you've
Yeah.
got to have it on your belt, if anything. Or
Yeah.
if you're a dad like me, you can put it in your cargo pant pocket.
Yeah, I saw they were this one like company that sells like some the tool belt stuff. They had like a
Yeah.
mini sort of, you got a little flashlight, you've got your Leatherman, and then you've got like
Oh,
a clip with your like hooks for your keys. And I was kind of like,
hmm.
I don't know how much I'll use a flashlight. I mean, I got the flashlight on my phone in a
Yeah.
pin.
That's kind of one of those things that like just like a calculator, right? When was the last time you touched a real calculator? Never.
I use one at my desk, oddly enough.
Okay.
I have like one of those old ones because my I have a cordless keyboard.
Yep.
So I use like an old, I get it.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Now the real question is when you use that, do you use a pencil to push the buttons or do you use your finger?
Look at this. Look at this dinosaur.
That's amazing.
No, I just like,
Yeah, no,
you know,
I do with the pencil if I'm going to use one. And I
uh,
feel like
uh
it's the way. So
fair enough. Yeah.
I
When
got
I'm doing estimating, I guess I use that. I use this when I'm doing estimating
yeah,
sometimes.
I got a business phone too. So I just put I set one to calculator, whatever one I'm not using. So it's essentially just a
Ah,
calculator. Yeah.
yep.
I wanted to talk about the learning curve for Fresco Harmony because I think there's going to be a
Sure.
lot of people that think it's really cool. Well, there already are a lot of people that think it's really cool, but there's going to be that hesitation,
Yeah.
right? Of like, oh, there's no way I can do it like that. I mean, to get started, other than your time to get good at it, it's incredibly cheap to get started, right? You're gonna have a hawk, you're gonna have a pool trowel, 6-inch blade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just some basic stuff, right? And then, like you said, you just want to get started getting it on the wall somewhere and just
I
get
mean,
comfortable.
a DIYer can do it, but
Yeah,
I think the I think the drywall dudes get thrown with the color.
right.
Like if I keep it like you're just skimming, like you've skimmed walls. I
Totally.
mean, it doesn't have to be the way that I do it too. There is no, another thing that I say is there's no right or wrong.
Hmm.
Like you could do two flat coats on your wall, and as long as it's covered, and you keep your like second coat, skim coat abstract, it'll look cool. It's still going to look
Yeah.
cooler than a flat painted wall. You're going to have the depth of color. That's what makes it cool. Um, so I try to keep it like paint by numbers, but it is designed for, who could benefit from it the most is drywallers
Right.
because you've got a mixer, you have a all-purpose mud that you like to use, you know how to skim a wall.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's basically it.
you're
You-
skimming the wall. You're skimming the wall three times outside of that, there's a couple little things that you have to know, like, okay, so, well, you don't have a lot of bull nose up there, a lot of square corner.
Yeah.
Even though finishing square corners is a little different, because you might finish square corners on or 90-degree corner. What do you call them up there?
Yeah, just squares,
Square.
square corners. Yeah.
So you might finish them and
Outside corners.
sand outside corner. You
Yeah.
might sand that bead
I
off.
do. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
so the mindset of the drywaller is that the paint's going to cover all that.
That's right.
When you go to do Fresco Harmony, you're the painter.
Yeah.
So when you do that outside corner, you don't clean it up. You build it up and let it dry, and then sculpt it square.
Yeah.
And then on the final coat, when you hit it with a sealer, you don't let that sealer, like, just be all blobby on the corner, because it'll dry that way. You got to clean it up with your thumb.
Mm-hmm.
There's like little tricks like that. But it's just skimming walls. Essentially, it's no different than texturing.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's a little bit more love that goes into fresco, where you just, you take that little bit of extra time in a few different places, and it really shows.
Yes and no, but because, I mean, with level 5, no way. There's way more love that goes into level 5.
Yeah.
Like fresco is all about like cutting corners. It's about like getting away with like a shitty inside angle, because it's all organic. You're like pulling 2 coats of mud out of your inside angle. You don't even have to fucking glaze your angles. You just tape them, because you're doing 2 full coats out of that angle. It's a different way of looking at finishing.
Right.
So that part's different.
One of the things I'm really excited about is to start seeing like the artistic part of it coming out with some of these guys, where there are going to be guys that just do it, get it on the wall. It's now just like you said, it's just you're the painter. And then I know that there's going to be guys out there that are doing swirl of different colors, and they're going to really figure out how to make that swirl really attractive. I think that's the biggest one for me right now. Is I can't wait to start seeing some of these more,
well, and also application methodologies. Like I just do it. I do it the way that I do it. It doesn't, and also I encourage people to try different things. I mean, when early on, when it was just me, I wasn't hiring drywall dudes to help me, because I thought they would steal my idea. Like,
okay. Yeah.
Like classic dry, they'll just steal my idea and run with it. And then everybody will be doing colored mud. And I will have lost this great idea. Like, that was my original idea. That's not necessarily true. I mean, people do like it. Someone could steal it, but like, the reality is it's hard to get people to, especially in drywall, to try new things, to realize like there's potential here. And they run into that a lot with the plaster groups. And they're scaling it back with the plaster techniques too, to include drywallers. Before it was like, oh, we're above you. You don't know how to drywall. You need to take this $1,000 class. To where now it's like, drywallers would be really good at this. Like, it's like, duh. Because you want to sell product. Like, why would you sell it any other way other than like, this is easy. This is paint by numbers, keep it simple,
There are guys that they'll prime after. They'll prime after they paint or after they tape, just because they don't want any headaches from the next painter or whatever. The amount of fucking time that a person like that is going to put into taping, then sanding, then priming, then touch-ups. Just fucking use Fresco Harmony.
Yeah, just level 5.
Yeah.
Just doing level 5 is a huge amount of energy. Even as fast as like Phil and Brad and you guys, I mean, you Canadians are doing phenomenal level 5, and you're doing it fast, and you've got the tools dialed, and you're doing it efficiently. You have to. Yeah. Because it's all level 5 up there. There's nothing, it's a revelation when you go from, all of the sanding and work that goes into making a butt flat and perfect. Like, it's got to be perfect.
That's what I go for.
And honest to God, I'm not joking. I've gone over 1 box coat, no sand, with the tape like fucking flashing. I've gone over a lit ceiling with 2 full coats of Fresco Harmony, and you don't see shit.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like, it's like an imperfect smooth. If you shine a light down it, you're going to see like imperfections. But if you look up at that ceiling, it just
Yeah.
looks flat.
Yeah.
You don't see a butter band, and there's zero sanding, and we only finished it to a level 2,
Yeah.
like level 2 or 3.
That's like your
So
first skim, right? Yeah.
you're taking all of that extra work from a level 3 to a level 5, and that's your base coat. That
Right.
becomes your base coat. And it's like, okay, we're floating this heavy, cake icing all over the whole thing. Then instead of doing that primer coat before the painter comes in, that's your second coat. That's your
Right.
sculptural coat that gets pulled out tight. And then instead of painting 2 coats, spraying it out 2 coats, you run your sealer, and the sealer's like fast.
It doesn't seem like you're
So
putting very much of it on either, that sealer.
no, it does. A
Yeah.
gallon will do 600 square feet. So
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So no,
So-
not very much. Yeah.
yeah, Jack probably just busted 3,000 square feet. Those bathrooms that he was doing, 3 weeks, whatever. He was there. We were going over orange peel. All he
Wow.
did was, we had a bunch of roughed in drywall where they did some remodel stuff, existing orange peel, broquet on the ceiling. He brought all that to uniform. So
Nice.
all of the patch and stuff he finished to a level 2, taped it and coated it with quickset, very little shrinkage, and then went right into his base coat, rough base coat, where you could have an apprentice or a laborer rolling it out. The base coat, you could have somebody rolling out ahead of you, and you could be smoothing out behind them. And then, you do your, on that one, we're doing a sand finish, which is a little different, and then sealer.
Yeah, I'm going to start wrapping my head around getting a few techniques where we can start implementing the younger guys. I don't know if we're going to do teach outs at schools or what we're going to do, but teaching someone how to roll out a first coat it's not a big deal, especially if you have somebody that knows what they're doing coming behind you and doing the skimming. And then
that's a fantastic way to learn too, for the apprentice, because they're rolling out, they're seeing what you're doing.
That's right.
Don't go too fast, don't go too slow, less mud, more mud. They're starting to understand the mud a little bit. And what I've learned recently too, with Royce and Steven, with the 3-way, that's another great way. That 3-way paper corner that they're schlepping, that thing is pretty cool.
That's going to be another big part of this. So now you're bringing in a guy that's going to cost you money for 6 or 8 months until he starts actually making you some money, or at least paying for himself. And what you could do is you could send them through this little fucking training thing where they learn how to put in a 3-way correctly. They learn how to roll walls or whatever you're going to be doing level 5, how to mix mud correctly. Right. And then now you've got a guy that's somewhat worth his weight. And now you can teach him without being fucking frustrated all day. I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but that's a big focus in the back of my mind now too. Right. The same with the 3-ways. They're going to start being built in a little bit more bulk. If you buy the biggest package, I think they're $3 a piece. Like, they're not very much anymore.
Yeah, is it 20 in a package?
I think it's 25. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It comes in a box, in like a big Ziploc bag. There are little 5 and 10 packs, but it's if you're going to be using them all the time, right, you should be buying them as big as you can. He's actually coming down here, Steve, tomorrow. I kind of starting to feel like shit a little bit. I think all this work is catching up with me, to be honest. But he's going to come down.
You work extremely hard.
It's a lot.
Watch you.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, I know you like it.
Yeah, I know. I need a fucking hobby though, eh?
Yeah, it's it does catch up with you when you push that hard that much. I have to shut it off now with the podcast. It's like you gotta like shut it off, spend time with the kid, just watch fucking cartoon, just don't do any social.
Yeah,
like for an hour, 2 hours at night, just like shut it off. Eat a pomegranate. I've been into pomegranates lately. I don't know why, but like
any antioxidants, or just that you like them.
I like them.
Me
and
too.
I'm getting them at Costco. They haven't it's like I totally out of season right now, but like they have these like crates. I ate 2 last night. I ate 2 fucking pomegranates, one sitting. I'm
They're
neck down
fucking
those fuckers.
they're messy though, eh? If you eat them like
Yeah,
I do, like a barbarian, you're just
yeah,
covered. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I have a towel, so I take one of our old towels and I drape it over the top of me, and then I like have a bowl, and
Like
I'm
a
just sitting
lobster
there
bib.
like getting to. Yeah, I feel like it dries out your hands too. It like fucks up your hands, but like
Yeah,
it's like the acidity in the juice.
that's exactly what it
They're
is.
they're
Yeah,
they're powerful.
they're good.
They're like and they're
They're
good.
they're real
Like
good. Yeah.
I just like eat them up. Like I don't know too many people that eat two pomegranates in one sitting. It's like
No. Yeah.
it's Neanderthal.
It's all right. You stumbled across a good bush. You got to eat two of them.
But they're like it's a sugar, it's like there's a lot of sugar in them too. So um yeah, but just shut it off, occasionally.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
cut you off. You were talking about the next gen.
Yeah. I want to get in there because I know the guys that taught guys like me, the guys that taught us didn't have any fucking patience to take on guys that weren't willing to like kill themselves hustling. That mentality of I'm gonna like work until my hands are bleeding is gone. There's no more of that. And I'm sure that there is, but it's not the general population. So we got to kind of figure out a way to get people taking on apprentices that they're not totally out of pocket for it, but they're also not frustrated with them, right? And then just get people teaching again, and then get people teaching the cool ways of doing things, right? Like if you're learning from day one, why would you not learn about Fresco from day one? And why would you not learn about level 5 from day one? And why would you not learn about the three-way from day one? Because your inside corners or inside three-ways are a pain in the ass. So if you could never have experienced that because you've been using something that's made it easy, that'd be wicked. That would be so wicked.
I didn't realize that the three ways took that much time. That never occurred
Oh
to me.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're good at it, like I'm not a huge time taper. Like I've you know, collectively however many years, but I mean, some of these guys are putting in 2,000 hours a year, 3,000 hours a year, right? That's a lot of time. So you get good at it. When you're not good at it, for one, you got to land your tapes perfect, and then
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
got to figure out to do that, left, right, top, and then you've got to pick them all out, sand them all down a little bit, do it again. You do that 3 times, or you put this three-way up in the corner and you wipe it twice and it's paint. Like
hmm
it just seems like a no-brainer.
And Royce, and two, like not that it matters that I think that a three-way takes as long as it does or it doesn't. It
Mhm.
probably did take me a long time to do. It's just not something I considered. So
Yes.
when I interviewed Royce and Steven, it was like, dude, you've been in the trade. Like he's good. You could just tell he's like good.
Uh,
Like
I'm gonna
like
have
if
him
you worked
on
with
by himself
if
because we got a lot to
it,
talk about.
if you worked with Royce, if you like went work with Royce, like you would, you're working with a master. And
Yeah.
so like you like just taking that into consideration, like I'll just take your word for it, Royce. Like I know
Mhm.
you know how to finish. I know you know how to finish a three-way.
Yeah.
So if he's at home at night watching TV, putting three-ways together, before they were even a thing,
Yeah.
cautious that people are going to steal it, like I was, the
Yeah.
color, same thing, then it's good. Like,
Yeah.
you should know at least enough to give it a try.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tape out your next house, finish, leave your tape back, glaze out your angles without messing with that corner at all.
Mhm.
Come around after the fact and put in all your three-ways and
Yeah.
time yourself.
Well, I
Like
think he
it's worth
said
a
it's like
try.
30 seconds or something he installs them in. Like it's now he's been doing them for a while, but I mean, how long would that take to get to? Right?
Yeah, so
It's
he's blowing through those three-ways.
oh yeah.
And I mean, he says it's 25%. Like, so,
It kind
you
of
know,
is, right? Because if I'm looking at a room, I'm running the boxes, right? I'm running the Predator to begin with, so the whole room is fucking taped in no time. And then you come
right.
through again with the boxes, no time. The inside angles, no time because I got the throttle box. The thing that takes the most time is picking and cleaning and sanding and reapplying the inside corners and outside corners. So you go, I don't use any of the fast edge stuff, which I think I'm going to start. I had Lydia on 2 days ago. So we talked about corner bead and fast
Okay.
edge. It just makes a lot of sense. Like the amount of time it takes me to put on my corner bead, it's the plastic. So you glue, plastic, staple, and then I do 90 with fiberfuse, and then you come back and then you coat the first coat. But I do all that prep work so it's perfect. So when I come back, I can just run through it when I'm coating it and there's no issues. But when they're talking about these fast edge things, you're rolling it on and it's done. You're going to come by and coat it once or twice, but there is no humps and there is no staples and screws and all this other kind of shit in your way. And they've just done an ultra wide, like whatever it is. I think it's 4.25 or 4.5. So
Yeah,
yeah, my next site, that's what I'm going to be using. And
it's
if they
cool.
if they want it the other way, it'll just be a premium now. I think it's just the amount of time it takes to make it that kind of perfect. The other part about that with the trim tech stuff is you walk around the house and every single corner is the same. It looks the same. It's all uniform because it's plastic with a hard edge on it, right? It's perfect. With the fast edge stuff, I think it just goes to the wall, but I don't think anybody's that fucking concerned about it, to be honest. Like it's the best guys out there and girls out there are using it, so it's obviously working.
Yeah,
So that's going to cut my time down. But I mean, when I'm taking a look at where all my time goes, it's those inside corners for sure.
interesting.
Yeah,
That's
because you want to pick them out and you want to sand them, they got to be perfect. Yeah. Now it's interesting with the fresco because um, when you come to a corner, if you're doing two walls, you're just building up either side and the corner is where it is, right? Like you're not doing anything special with that. It's going to
mine
land
are
where it lands.
mine are better than Jack's. Jack's bugs me. He gets too much mud into the corner, and then you're getting blobs, when you pull out that other side.
Yeah.
I try to do lids first. So you do the ceiling, let that dry, and then your cut-in is tight on your walls. If you're doing a room and you're doing walls and ceilings.
Right.
If I'm cutting in my inside angle, I'll pull that pretty tight so that, and then you keep the back edge of your trowel clean. That's the
Oh,
secret to that.
okay.
So I'm constantly also that's the secret to keeping chowder out of your textural base coat when you're cruising across a wall.
Okay.
Always keep that back edge. And then people use a trowel differently. I use one side of my trowel. I'm not going
Yes.
like this.
No.
I'm going like this, or I'm flipping it and using the same side. So this back edge always stays clean, and I'm using one side of my trowel all the time. That's a little different technique,
Yeah, I
but
do that.
it keeps my corners sharp.
Yes. Yeah. I do the same thing when I'm using the knives. I pick one side of it, and then if I'm
Yeah,
doing specific stuff, I take one side of that side. You know what I mean? Like if I'm
that's
so
it, and that's like that's the hybrid, which is what Fresco Harmony is. It's a plaster drywall hybrid. I
right.
use a pool trowel, but I'm using my 6-inch to pick out all my little stuff, my corners, all my square stuff. I pick it out with my 6-inch, and then I pool trowel everything else. You know,
What's the guy's name from the groups? Is it Cory? Cory, is it Fisher? Um,
yeah, that's the Techdry. Cory Fisher's a Techdry guy.
get the fuck out of here. Okay, you see, this is where I'm terrible with everything
You're
because
wearing a you're wearing a short. You're wearing
I
a shirt.
I and this is what's so funny about me is I'm
Who's this
so
Cory
bad
Fisher
with
guy?
names.
He
Yeah.
likes all my stuff. He's liking everything.
I was about to tell a story about how he's doing a pan and a knife doing fresco for that fucking fireplace that he
The
just posted the
yeah,
other
so
day.
that was
Oh my
he
god.
did a
Anyways.
he made a video.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use a pan and knife. I mean, the advanced makes a knife with curved corners.
Right. Yeah, I've heard about that. And then
That
but
not
that doesn't leave anything, right? It's a smooth pull away. Is that the
in
deal?
in theory, I mean, it's an offset blade. I just did a video with Jack. My guy was doing a heavy broquet like ceiling,
Yeah.
and I was videoing him. I was like, "Why the fuck are you using a pan and knife?" And he's like, "Well, so I don't have to go back to the bucket." So I mean, it's cool, but I let Jack do,
Totally.
because I think when you just allow people to do things their own way, as
Yep.
hard as it is for all of us journeymen,
Yeah.
when you're like, I'm sure Phil, like when you're on Phil's job, you got to do it his way.
Yeah, I
You
would
know,
think so.
but like, but there's a balance there too, though, because when you let somebody do something, if you're a little looser with that rule, you can
Mhm.
learn stuff. You can learn sort of things, and people will do stuff how they do it, and it's like you kind of have to let go. And then at the end of the day, um, I don't give a shit. Do it however you need to fucking do it, but it's got to
Right.
look like mine.
That's my
Like
whole thing. I don't care
that's the
how
only rule.
people do things. I care that the finished product looks the same as what I would do, or better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's really how it is. You know, if you want to get a rubber chicken and implement that somehow, I don't care. As
Yeah.
long as
Use your hands.
yeah,
Just use your
totally. Yeah,
hands.
yeah. Clean it with your cheeks or whatever. And yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's good. Oh, I
Yeah,
was.
who is it? I was interviewing Meg. So Meg's gonna be coming up.
Mhm.
She was like, she was saying it would be really fun to get everybody together in one house.
That would be a
Like,
blast.
you know,
Yeah.
I feel like I could find a I did a Green Builder Media has a place in Green Lake, it's Green Lake, I want to say Lake City,
Okay.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Small town in Colorado, beautiful, picturesque. Not good for skiing though. So they haven't
Okay.
grown up like an Aspen or a Vail or something like that. So it's a smaller city. Cut off. So Green Builder Media is doing a huge, they call it Mariposa. It's this huge, they purchased however many thousands of acres, Colorado wilderness, butts up against the national forest on all four sides, but they're building this like awareness space.
Okay.
But there's these spaces like this where I'm like saying to myself, like, dude, I could call like Ron with Green Builder Magazine,
Mhm.
and like he would be happy, like especially in the summer, like so they can only work certain amount of times of the year because there's so
Totally.
much snow.
Yeah.
Off the grid, like no cell service. I rented a trailer and pulled it up there and camped for a
Nice.
week. No
Yeah.
cells. I had to go into town to like answer emails and stuff.
I would love
It
that.
was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, and I just wake up in the morning, make a sandwich. I had a little burner. I rented one of those trailers. I had a little burner and like a
Yeah.
little thing. Drink my coffee outside with the deer walking across, and like go, drive 5 seconds to work,
Yeah.
and then like do Fresco Harmony all day, and then go take a hike at the end of the day.
That's wild.
I stayed up there for like 5 days. How cool would it be to like schedule a thing where it's like, hey, Ron, don't worry about your next house that you're building.
We're
Dude,
all gonna do it.
let us know when to be there. And I got like all these ballers, dude. We'll come up there and have a big camp out. And
You know, it's funny. On Cam's interview when it drops, we talk about that about CSR. I've been, well, we got to get everybody down for the next CSR event.
yeah,
And he was like, wouldn't it be cool if we found a fucking mansion somewhere
yeah,
and we
yeah.
all
This
just
is
like
like
all of us
some
taped it?
what Mariposa Meadows is going to be is
Yeah.
it's going to be a like an educational facility where people can go
Oh,
to learn about green building. So
okay.
it's like a kind of not for profit. It was a trade that I did. Like they gave me a spot in the magazine.
Hmm.
It was very cool. It was all very cool. I met Ron, the owner of the magazine. It's a Green Builder Media, and they're huge. They're a national magazine. But they're building this whole facility like a lodge, like a where people can go and learn about it, but they're still building it, like, and they're moving it like a snail's pace. This guy's like 70, and he's like, him and this other old dude are like hammering the nails and working on this like
Yep.
giant like facility, and they can only do it like 6 months out of the year because it's snowed in the rest of the time.
One brick at a time. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, it's cool. It's all
something to,
solar, thermal,
yeah.
off the grid, like all kinds of cool, I mean, they're green builders, so they have all this donation. People are donating like
Oh,
all kinds of
totally.
cool stuff. But that would be a cool place to do a, you know,
Yeah. Big meat. Yeah.
just a big meet, and everybody like camps out. It's gorgeous. It's up over 10,000 feet, the
Okay.
location, way up.
Oof.
Like,
I'll,
hi.
I'll have to sleep through the first day for my body to figure it out.
Yeah, you can only work like 7, 8 hours at that altitude, man. You just get fatigued real quick.
See, that's perfect for me. It's not like I would want to. It's that my body wouldn't allow it, and I'd have to have fun after work.
And you don't have to drink as much and you get
Yeah,
drunker faster.
yeah. We all just stand up on a scaffolding,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
that much higher. Okay, it's time to go.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be a blast, man. I think there needs to be more of that stuff happening. I think with all the podcasts going around, we're going to get a lot more stuff like that happening, where it's like we are all, yes, quote unquote, in a community because we do the same thing. What the podcasts
yeah,
and the CSR and all that kind of stuff is doing is going, it's not that we're in a community because we do the same thing, it's because we're all as cool as each other. We all got here, we all have our own techniques, you know what I mean? So that the
yeah.
more that everybody gets together, I think the funner things are going to start to get, right? Like
It's shifting. It's shifting, and I
mhm,
think the podcasts are really a catalytic element of that.
mhm,
That shift, that openness, like to where like, oh, we don't have to be dicks. We all share this unique love of drywall and this cool medium called joint compound.
yeah,
And I'm not alone. Myron Ferguson's podcast drops tomorrow.
yep,
He is like, I liked the mud, and it's the same thread. I liked the mud. And I
yeah,
thought like that was a weird dynamic with me. I remember Journeyman saying, get out while you can,
yeah,
when I was an apprentice, and I was like, whatever, dude, I like this stuff. I'm having fun. Like
yeah.
it didn't bother me where they're like, this is the worst thing ever. And for me, I was like, I could have done anything.
Yeah.
I tried lots of different I worked in a soccer store. I worked at a farm. I did
Hmm.
all kinds of different things. But when I found drywall, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. The day went by quick.
Yep.
I'm learning this cool thing. I was like, dude, I was just started spinning outlets and like the day's gone.
Yeah.
This is cool. I'm learning to walk stilts. There was just so many cool things about it. But this is what connects us,
Yeah.
And Fresco Harmony was, originally it was just like, oh, I could do color joint compound walls, and that's just another level. I'm just taking it to another level. Color is another, it's like drywall 2.0, or drywall 3.0.
It it's
It opens up a world that didn't exist.
it's the next step, I think, right? Where it's, are you done when you're done? Because I'll tell you, man, when I'm done my my third coat with the boxes, I know the site's over, but I'm not done yet, Like I would wish I was one more step sometimes, like where you just got the
Yeah.
right customer, the right site, everything's moving smooth, and you're like, well, I guess we're fucking off to the next one. But if
Yeah.
you were implementing your fresco, you'd have another couple extra days on site, couple more things you could do, and
Oh yeah.
it's I really followed
And you're
down that.
still using the same shit. You're still using joint compound. You're
Oh,
just
that's what I mean. You're not branching into some other fucking thing you don't
dump
know.
some
This
fucking
is
color in
yeah,
it and like go into your textural coat. And this is like you're still making the walls flat. You're using joint compound, but you're taking this extra thing that we give to the painters freely, this
well,
step
and
that we could be we and we could make it look better,
yeah, well,
you
and
know?
like you said, giving it to them freely. And we're doing this awesome job, and
Yeah.
and then handing it off. It's not like you know. I know there have to be painters out there that are yelling at all the tapers just because like people are doing shit work, but it's not us. It's we're handing over these sites that you're very minimal anything. You're just spraying it and it's done, and you've made your probably more than what we did when we went in.
Hmm.
Yeah, when we talk about the community, that's what I was digging through here for. Sean Fawcett, that crazy bastard. Have you seen his stuff? He's like dancing and doing all kinds of crazy shit. Oh, he's so much fun to follow. He's so much fun to follow. So we did a little bit of back and forth. He's 10 minutes down the road from me.
Oh, funny.
Oh yeah. So we're all gonna get together. We were talking about, like maybe we'll go get a beer or something. Well, Christy Slade posted one of his things. I think it was today or yesterday, and I immediately reached out and I was like, okay, you know that we all live here, right? And she was like, does that mean we're gonna go for beers? So I think we're gonna go get a bunch of chicken wings and have a couple of beers. And then I'm starting to branch out into having two people on at the same time. So on Friday,
Okay.
I'm gonna have
Smart.
Cam and Josh,
There you
uh,
go.
and we're just gonna shoot the shit for I don't know, maybe a couple
Josh who?
from High Cut Drywall. So that
Oh, okay.
from my first podcast. Yeah, so him and Cameron Brown. I'm not sure when it's going to drop now. I've got so many podcasts now. Like it's
Yeah.
I need to be doing every week, but then like this month we've got the two big ones that I'm dropping, and then the Columbia, and then my cousins. Just because it's the audio quality was a little bit shit, so so that's one a week anyways. So I'm
Yeah.
stumbling into doing one a week, and I don't think I want to be doing any more than that. So
No,
unfortunately, some of these are going to be in 4 months from now. Like yours is going
yeah.
to, drop probably first week of February. I'm thinking, or just to kind of
Okay.
get it out there a little bit. It might be second, but we'll see. Anyways, we're starting to run out of time here. You got any shout outs you want to do, or what are you thinking?
Shout outs.
Techdry
Uh
tools.
well, shout out to Canam for sponsoring, April and March. Shout out to Shane at the Platformer.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Cory with Techdry
Yeah.
for sponsoring May, and also shout out to Columbia
Mm-hmm.
for sponsoring June.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to CSR,
Always.
for having faith in Fresco Harmony and really introducing it to Canada. I'm
Mm-hmm.
super stoked for the training. It's gonna be fun. They're really taking it seriously, and I think that it's gonna be a good event and fun and super useful, and hopefully if you come to the training you can learn enough. My goal is that you can take from the training and go do a job and make money. Like, that's my goal.
Yeah, and for anybody listening, and like there is going to be some sort of a Rolodex that starts to be built here where, a lot of people are going to be into Fresco Harmony and a lot of people are not going to want to put the time into doing it. So we're going to
Yeah.
very quickly figure out who's good at doing this, and they're going to have a lot of fucking work. Um, because
Yeah.
I
There's
don't,
enough. There's
oh,
enough right now that
oh
there's
yeah,
enough work
yeah,
that you're early. Anybody that's climbing on board is an early adapter.
yeah. That's the way I look
At
at it too.
this point. Still, even in the United States, we're in 48 states. We've done over $2,500 in January in online sales alone. That's
Wow.
not including the 8 distributors that we have here. So it's, and they're still early adapters. That's it. Oh,
Yeah.
and we're going to be at Build 23
Yes. Yeah.
March.
Hopefully I'll
So
see you there.
I was going to talk to you about that too, but we have less than a fucking minute, dude.
I know. God
Pay the
damn it.
$16.
I know. I know. I know. Oh, do you want to do another 30 minutes? We can do that.
Yeah, we could talk a little
All
longer.
right. All
Yeah.
right, cool. We'll be right back.
Tech Dry.
Tech Drive.